The Cubs are selecting 23rd in the 2026 first-year player draft. Who are they going to take? Jim Callis and I are going into the crystal ball. Jim, give me your first option here for them at 23.
You know, so much of it depends on who gets to you. And like I told you before, they'll probably get somebody who ranks higher on their board. That's just the way the nature of the draft. If you pick 23, you might get the 15th guy on the board. One guy who I look at is Sawyer Strosnider of TCU, who's one of the most tooled-up college guys in this draft. It's big power. He has a chance to play center field. He's got all kinds of tools. The problem, the reason he might be available at 23, I originally thought he was going to be a top 10 pick, Lance, is that the last 4 or 6 weeks of the season, he just didn't hit very much. I mean, you can see here, 444 feet. It's no doubt. He hits a lot of no-doubters. Like, he crushes balls. But he slumped toward the end of the season. Guys question a little bit his ability to hit lefties. I don't think the platoon numbers are real great. But in terms of athlete and testing, and you could dream on him, he'd be the guy who is guy we didn't think we'd have a chance at that might actually be there when they pick 20.
I like it. So you get an outfielder there. Is there another non-outfielder? I got a college outfielder as well as we get into mine, but I want to go to another one of yours first. The Golden Spikes winner. I like this one a lot.
Well, and I went to Georgia, so I love Daniel Jackson. He's first catcher in Division I history to go 25 homers and steals, third player ever to win the SEC Triple Crown, won every award. And it's weird, like this is like the reverse. Like I don't understand why he's not being talked about higher in the draft. Not necessarily top 10 picks, but like it feels like this guy should go 11 to 20. I mean, he's got huge power. And for a catcher, he's not athletic for a catcher. He's athletic for an athlete. Like the first time I saw this guy, Lance, he had a walk-off homer, I think it was against Auburn as a sophomore after he transferred from Wofford, and they ripped his shirt off. And I was like, is that the safety Dan Jackson from the football team? Because it's the same build, and he's ripped.
I love that.
But this guy, he'll flash plus speed, it's plus arm strength. If for some reason he couldn't catch, and there's no reason to suspect that, he could definitely play corner outfielder. There's no question in my mind. And I don't understand why he isn't being talked about in the teams. And I think he'd be a tremendous value if he was there at 23. So that's kind of...
Yeah. I like this one.
Yeah.
This is my favorite pick. And I'm going to go in a different direction because we have to talk pitching.
Well, I know. Come on. Like you aren't going to pick a pitcher? So
I know.
If you're picking 23, who are you hoping for? Like, who's your dream at 23 for the Cubs?
So I think this college pitching class is weak. We both agree on this. The problem is that I can't do the segment and not acknowledge that the Cubs probably need pitching of some kind, which they haven't drafted in any of the last 3 drafts up high. I go Liam Peterson at 23. Now, I don't think he's going to get to 23, but he's my number 2 college pitcher, probably my number 2 pitcher overall in this class. I don't think Florida did a great job developing him towards the end of his career. Talking to a lot of people in baseball, there's some easy adjustments there to get the fastball playability up. He sits 96. The slider and curveball have incredible results. The problem is that the overall results have been very bad in his career. So you're trying to reconcile that. You're trying to reconcile this guy did not perform well, but how much does performance matter when the underlying shapes look like they're major league ready for him to go out there and shove? So I don't think he gets to 23, but because I like him, if he's there at 23, I think I would take him. The question for me becomes, if Brody Bumila, the lefty from Massachusetts, who's a huge human,
high school kid,
or Gio Rojas, another one, high school lefty from Florida, if those two guys get to 23, that's where I think it becomes intriguing. I would be surprised if the Cubs took a college pitcher. Even if Liam Peterson gets to 23, I wonder if they take a high schooler. What's your read on pitching with them at 23?
Yeah, I just don't think. I mean, I know you want the Cubs to take a pitcher.
I know. That's why I'm bringing
Cubs
this up.
fans want the Cubs to take a pitcher.
It's just a weird class.
It's not a great class, and like even with the high school pitchers are more attractive than college pitchers. And I don't think the Cubs are necessarily afraid of high school pitchers like some teams are. But most teams don't want to take a high school pitcher with their first pick. They'd rather pay more and take him with their second pick. So I don't know. Like Peterson's interesting because I don't think he's going to get to him either. But if you were going by performance, you're like, this guy should get to him because he hasn't performed, but he might be there. So I mean, go against your instincts now, Lance. How about a non-pitcher? Is there a non-pitcher you have your eye on?
Yeah, this is one you brought up, and I think makes a lot of sense because of the track record. It's Zion Rose from Louisville, born in Chicago. That'd be kind of a fun narrative there. The angle here is, okay, he performed really well on the Cape in 25. I got him with a 474 slug. Cubs in the past have kind of prized that batted ball data when you get high performance against competition that's pretty good out in the Cape with clean data. That's what Zion Rose has. Ankle and hamstring injuries this season, but in the 36 games he played, he had 1137 OPS. So the offensive profile is there from an underlying data standpoint. The contact rate's fantastic, especially alongside the amount of raw pop that he has. Maybe some questions defensively on where he fits. Is he a plus outfielder? Probably not, but the bat is good enough probably to carry some kind of corner outfield profile. So this to me is like the quintessential oh yeah, they went with the guy who performed on the Cape and has good exit velocity data. Maybe the defense isn't great, but is he a possibility at 23, do you think?
Yeah, and he's athletic. Like, he's a good athlete. He's just not a good outfielder. I mean, sometimes that happens.
Yeah.
Like, he can run. I mean, he could be a 20-20 guy. And he's kind of like my Daniel Jackson pick, Lance, because I feel like he should be talked about in the teens. This guy's performed in the ACC, which is the second best conference in college baseball. And like you said, it's not just one aspect. He can hit for average, he can hit for power, he can run. He's a pretty complete offensive package. And yet, I don't know if it's because he missed 20 games, but he still performed great and was the guy everybody thought he was. But I'm hearing him more in the 30s than I'm in the 20s, which, again, that seems odd to me. So it's kind of like the Daniel Jackson pick. I feel like people are sleeping on Zion Rose a little bit. Now, for people watching this is what always happens toward the end of the draft when people are setting their boards and locking them in stone going into the draft on July 11th, is you get all excited about these high school guys, like all spring, and then you're like, you know what? Daniel Jackson can really play, and Zion Rose can play, and they start to move up. Like Ethan Conrad, who was injured last year, the Cubs' first-round pick, same kind of thing. Like, more people looked at him, it's like, this is a pretty attractive package. So I think we'll probably hear those guys going higher, Jackson and Rose.
Yep.
But like I would be excited about both those picks.
I like all these four. Let's take a look at them before we get out of here. My two were Zion Rose and Liam Peterson. Again, playing on that idea of the pitching side. I like Liam Peterson a lot. I don't entirely know if we'll get the 23. Kind of more the meta around the Cubs need pitching. Maybe they probably won't take it in the first round. Is Jim and I's lean. Zion Rose we just talked about. But Jim's guys, as we kind of pivot over here, you had Sawyer Strosnider from TCU. Kind of an all-around package. We saw him at the Combine. He looked really good. And Daniel Jackson, the Golden Spikes winner, who I think is my favorite pick. I think if of these four names, if you can give someone to the Cubs right now, I think it's Daniel Jackson. You agree?
That would be kind of fun.
Yeah, I think it'd be a lot of fun. Yes, catcher, long-term projection there, a lot of fun.